Sorry, I'm just launching the Facebook Live. There's a bit of a lag. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, and we're live. Okay, we're just letting in a couple people. Thank you to those of you who are joining us in the Zoom room and those of you who are joining us via Facebook Live. My name is Linda. I'm with the Canadian University Application Center, and today we'll be talking about studying the liberal arts in Canada. I'm just going to share my screen and then I'll introduce our panelists. Okay, so joining us here today is Lindsay Benoit from St. Mary's University. We also have Danish Ohabib from Wilfrid Laurier University. We have Camila Vasquez and Kira from St. Thomas University, Miliana Dragas from Brescia at Western University, and Ali Shirtez from the University of Saskatchewan. So you'll be hearing from everybody today. Each university representative is going to focus on a particular liberal arts program at their university, and they'll tell you a little bit about other programs that are available there as well. So you're probably here because either you're interested in the liberal arts or you're interested in Canada, but you don't really know what you want to study, or maybe you're interested in something outside of the liberal arts. I hope to find this presentation informative, whether you are going to study the liberal arts or a different subject, because all of us will be taking liberal arts subjects. Yes, so anyway, to start off, what are the liberal arts? The liberal arts are kind of an umbrella term to encompass several different, generally in the field of humanities, social sciences, and the arts. And the liberal arts are important because they help us build essential life skills. Most importantly, communication, that's interpersonal communication, as well as critical thinking, being able to question whether what you see and hear is accurate, which I think is really relevant, especially now in the world of social media, but really any kind of media, as well as problem solving. So you'll be developing these skills in a liberal arts degree. What makes that different from maybe a more technical degree is, like if you're studying engineering, you know that you'll probably become an engineer, or if you study accounting, you'll probably become an accountant. Liberal arts majors tend to be a lot more broad in the sense that you're developing life skills that will be applied really to any industry and any career path you might want to pursue. One thing that's really important to note about Canadian education is that our degrees are comprehensive. What that means is, as opposed to some other countries, you're not going to follow a narrow stream of a degree. So even if you're studying engineering, you're also going to be required to take arts and humanities classes. And if you're studying the liberal arts, you're also going to be taking classes probably in the sciences and maybe even in business. So our Canadian education system really sets students up to make sure that they're getting a well-rounded education and getting knowledge and skills from a lot of different areas. And that's what makes it really beneficial. And what I think sets the Canadian American education apart from maybe some other systems in the world. The liberal arts can be really a good place to start if you maybe don't really know what you want to study, because you'll see today when you hear from the university reps that there is such a vast variety of subjects that are available within the liberal arts. So maybe in your first year, if you're not really sure, you might take a criminology class, an economics class, a psychology class, and that will give you a chance to kind of explore those different options. If after that year you decide, okay, I want to study business or I want to study sciences, those classes that you took in your liberal arts will still apply towards that degree. Of course, you'll be working with an academic advisor to work through these and make sure that you are heading towards your education and career goals. Okay, so some of the benefits of a liberal arts degree. First is study over time. So the Wall Street Journal published a study by pay scale, which followed degree holders of business and of computer science versus degree holders of the liberal arts. And what they found was that business and computer science majors, yes, they made more money off in their career. After a short time, the liberal arts majors caught up to them as far as salary scale, and then many even surpassed that. So material benefits of a liberal arts degree, aside from those lifelong skills that we were talking about. Of course, you're building these adaptable skills. So there are studies that theorize that in 20 years, the work that we're doing now, none of the work that we're doing now is actually even going to exist in 20 years. So for those of you that are here and you're in grade 12, you'll probably graduate 5 years from now, and the job market is really different than it is now. And that's going to be really obvious to you for those of you who are studying in the year 2020, like we're seeing how quickly things can change. Hopefully things don't change as rapidly ever again in our lifetime, but change is inevitable. So a liberal arts degree, it really helps you to build those skills that will be transferable no matter how the job market shifts. You want to make sure that you are building skills and knowledge that are going to carry you through 20 years after your degree, 30 years after your degree, and not just technical skills that are only relevant being. I do want to stress that this isn't to say liberal arts degree is better than a business degree or better than an engineering degree. It's to say that when you are studying business or engineering or sciences, take advantage of the arts and humanities classes that you are required to take. Like, don't just kind of tick them off the checkbox tick the checkbox of those classes because you have to take them. But really try to get the advantages from them, those critical thinking skills, those teamwork skills, those problem solving skills that those classes are meant to teach, as well as developing yourself as a global citizen. I want to share an example of Uber. Uber is a well-known tech company, and when they were developing their app, their platform, they had hired excellent coders and programmers, and they had developed what they thought was a really good system. But when they launched it or were testing it with people, what they realized was they were really missing the human touch of the program. And so they ended up hiring psychologists or those who had studied psychology to be consultants. So this is what I mean about how a liberal arts degree isn't just straight and narrow, that it actually builds skills that allow you to work in a lot of different industries. Psychology, as an example, is the study, which is something that's useful no matter what industry you end up going into. As well, a liberal arts degree helps you promote your assets or build your brand. Everyone that you study with, or the vast majority of people that you're in university with, are going to graduate with a degree. So what's going to set you apart when you're sitting at a job interview? How are you going to effectively communicate the skills and knowledge that you've gained in your university degree, and communicate your commitment to learn and grow and benefit the company? So this just goes back to those communication skills and how you're able to really sell yourself. And of course, employable qualities. So if you ask an employer what they're looking for, generally they'll say someone who is willing to take calculated risks or are not fearful of the unknown, the ability to solve problems analytically, the ability to work and communicate a group, and the ability to inspire and persuade. So these are all assets that are developed in a liberal arts degree. as our world moves towards more automation and as we're looking more into artificial intelligence, there are some skill sets I feel that are not ever going to be obsolete, that will be timeless. That's written and verbal communication, ability to collaborate with people, that will always be a necessity. And again, just that human touch to however technological our world becomes. Some famous liberal arts degree holders, these are CEOs, so it is in the business. You may not have known is Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Walt Disney, Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, and Jack Ma, the chairman of Alibaba, just a small handful of those who had studied the liberal arts. I do want to say that this example is different from, sometimes people say, well, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they didn't graduate and they still were very successful. But in this scenario, these people did graduate with an arts degree, and they have publicly said in interviews and presentations that their liberal arts skills is what helped them get to the success that they got to. And so before I pass it on, I do want to share this quote. This is from Dick Costolo, the former CEO of Twitter. He said, "Nothing prepares you for the decisions of this world better than the ability to contextualize everything about an environment that you're in and the people and cultures and psychology and history of everyone involved." So again, just touching on how a liberal arts degree really helps you be a global citizen and contribute positively to the world. Okay, so I'm going to throw up a poll and then I'll pass it over to our next presenter, Lindsay from St. Mary's. Oh, relaunch. Okay, so for those of you who are with us on Zoom, you'll see a poll coming up. I'll just give you a few seconds to share. We just want to know a little bit about you. What's your highest level of education? So tap in. We'll do 10 more seconds. Okay, so it looks like we have a few people who have completed university, mostly grade 11 and grade 10. Okay, so we have a lot of grade 12 people. That's great. Thank you for being here. Okay, and Lindsay, you are up.
Hi, thank you, Linda. I'm just trying to, I recently got 2 screens, so now I'm trying to juggle both screens here. So if, hopefully you can see my screen. Perfect. All right, thank you so much, Linda. My name is Lindsay Benoit, and I am here from St. Mary's University in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm excited to share some information with you about our institution over the next 10 minutes. And of course, I'm going to talk about our liberal arts program, and specifically one of our unique and most popular programs within the liberal arts, which is criminology. I myself am a liberal arts graduate. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts from St. Mary's, and I majored in psychology. St. Mary's, we were founded in 1802. We're one of the oldest universities in Canada. So essentially that just means we have a very long-standing history of academic excellence and some really great programs that have been around for a very long time. So where is Halifax? Where is Nova Scotia? Where is St. Mary's? So as you can see on this map, we're on the east coast of Canada. Our province, again, is called Nova Scotia, and the city that we're located in is Halifax. We are the capital of Nova Scotia, and I know that on this map it looks like we're an island, but we are not. We are a peninsula. But you can see that we're very our location is great for traveling domestically, traveling internationally. We're 2 hours from Toronto, 2-hour flight from New York, and just across the pond from London. So definitely very easy to access Halifax. We're home to an international airport, so you can get here fairly easily. Here's a gorgeous aerial shot of Halifax, and Halifax truly is a student city. So it's the perfect balance of big city flair, but also that small town charm that is attractive as well. And we're told that some of the friendliest people in the world live in Halifax, so we take that very seriously. We're home to about 400,000 people, but every September, 25,000 students come to Halifax to start their educational journey. So this means that the population is very young, it's diverse, it's vibrant, there's something to do for everybody. Also, we have very low crime rates, low pollution, and we're surrounded by nature. So it's great to have access to everything that you need, but kind of without that frantic, rushing and overwhelming number of people. And just to give you an idea of where we are, we're nestled in what's called the south end of the city. As you can see on the screen, I've put the little dot to where the St. Mary's campus is. So we're about a 15-minute walk from the downtown core. So you really are within walking distance to everything that you need: restaurants, shopping, movie theaters, entertainment, live music. But you're able to explore the outskirts of the city for free with your student bus or ferry pass. Right now, Halifax is one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. We're also #2 in Canada for tech diversity and wage growth. So this is great for students that are coming not only to get their education, but also who are hoping to stay and get a job and maybe start a life in Halifax. We really are a haven for entrepreneurs or just students who are looking to network throughout their degree and get a head start. It's a great place to do that no matter what faculty that you are studying in. So welcome to the St. Mary's campus. Our campus is located entirely in one city block, so it really is the perfect location for students who are looking for the amenities of the city, but paired with that iconic, more personalized university experience. As I mentioned, we're one of the oldest universities in Canada. We have a population of around 7,000 students, and this means that your first year classes are going to be between 40 and 60 students, which really makes it a comfortable atmosphere for asking questions, getting involved, getting to know your peers and your professors. And another great thing about St. Mary's is that it provides the benefits of a smaller university, like seeing your friends when you walk to classes, getting to know your professors, but also the opportunities and resources of a larger institution. So this means very diverse course offerings. This is undergraduate research opportunities in as early as your first year, and of course, a lot of great student support services. One thing about St. Mary's is that 1/3 of our students are international students. So this really provides a warm welcome and level of comfort for students that are coming from their home country. But it also adds an incredible amount of depth and perspective for students who are from Canada or, like myself, from Nova Scotia. So it really turns every conversation into something pretty amazing. So at St. Mary's, we offer programs in a number of areas. We're home to a Faculty of Arts, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes. We have a Faculty of Science, which includes engineering. We have our SOBI School of Business, so that is our business school, as well as a School of the Environment. I'm going to speak about our Bachelor of Arts program, more specifically our criminology program today. So as Linda mentioned at the early onset of the presentation, Bachelor of Arts is a really great degree. It combines skills like critical thinking, communication, problem solving, and we see now, especially just in the last 6 months, since COVID has plagued the entire world, how can we move forward with great communication? How can we problem solve? How can we think critically about every single little decision that we're faced with? So essentially the entire world has had to pivot, and it takes some pretty incredible skills to be able to do that and do that successfully. So a St. Mary's Bachelor of Arts degree, you will graduate with knowledge and experience in real world issues. And at St. Mary's, we're very proud about the extent of experiential learning opportunities that we provide. So this includes co-op, so 3 paid work terms or 3 paid internships throughout your degree. One of the great things about St. Mary's is we offer co-op in every single one of our arts majors. So in Atlantic Canada, we do have the largest and most diverse Bachelor of Arts program. So we have over 40 areas of study, and these hands-on learning opportunities are available in every single one of them. So I'm going to speak a little bit to criminology. Criminology is about defining and responding to crime. As a criminology student, you're going to study areas like crime prevention. You'll be looking at systems and regulation of punishment, policing, prisons, corrections. You'll also be looking at restorative justice and human rights. And you'll really gain an understanding of the social construction of crime, as well as criminal justice policies and politics. And our criminology program is linked quite closely to our psychology program, as well as our forensic sciences certificate. So not only are you going to be looking at, you know, what is crime and defining this and responding to this, but also the psychological aspect as well. So I took a few criminology classes throughout my psychology degree, and it's quite fascinating, as well as if students are looking more so to look at things maybe from a crime scene aspect as well. We do have that, which you can kind of throw in that forensic sciences certificate in there as well. If you are interested in kind of what a criminology program can set you up for, there's a lot of great hands-on experiences that you get to take advantage of while you're studying criminology at St. Mary's. So we have students that do their co-ops with one of the local police forces that we have here in Halifax. We also have a service learning component where a couple of our criminology classes are paired up to essentially peer mentor and work with at-risk youth who are in detention centers here in Halifax. So our criminology program really will provide you great comprehensive and interdisciplinary curriculum taught by professors who are working and involved in research projects actively right now on the St. Mary's campus. And as a St. Mary's student, you get to take advantage of those research opportunities and kind of getting your hands on all the great things that are happening outside of the classroom. So on the screen, as you can see, some of the career possibilities that come with the criminology degree at the end, and some of the sample classes that we offer: policing in society, criminal law, understanding mass murder, organized crime, and criminalization of mental illness. Just a little bit more about St. Mary's and our student life. I wanted to throw a few pictures up here so you got more of paint a picture of what the St. Mary's student life is like. We are a very active, we have a very active school spirit, I should say. So one of the great things, like I mentioned, having that more personalized educational experience within the larger city provides really great opportunities for students. Our classes and our residence buildings are connected with tunnels and pedways, so you don't have to walk outside if it is your first winter experiencing snow. I know we're going to do Q&A at the end, so I will wrap it up. I believe I've probably gone over my 10 minutes, so I'll pass it off to the next presenter, but I look forward to answering some questions at the end of the session.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. That was really informative. I'm going to throw out another poll. And I forgot to mention, sorry, but for those of you who are here on Zoom, if you have a question, please leave it in the chat box. So we have April from our CC China office. She's moderating those questions. And if you're joining us on Facebook Live, Shafkat from Dhaka is moderating the questions there. So just leave it in the comment box. Okay, so we'll just take 10 to 15 seconds. For those of you who are attending, where are you looking to study? Okay, so it looks like 100% Canada. I thought maybe some of you might be interested maybe as well in the US or the UK or other places, but that's good to know that you're here. At the end, I'll talk about some other events that we are having as well. So thank you again for joining us. And then if you have, if you're interested in like meeting with our representatives from the universities one-on-one, we have some counseling events that are coming up also. So, all right, I'll pass it on now to Danish.
Hello. Okay, so let me just share my screen. All right. All right, hi everyone. My name is Danish. I work at Wilfrid Laurier University. Wilfrid Laurier University. Oh. All right, so I always like to start the presentation with showing just some pictures from our Instagram. I think this gives a good idea of what it's like to be a student at Laurier. I attended Laurier myself. I studied the health sciences program. And then after graduating from Laurier, I work as an international recruiter. So I speak with international students who are interested in studying abroad in Canada. And in addition to that, I'm also doing the part-time MBA program at Laurier. So I can definitely speak to both sides of being a staff member and also being a student as well. So Laurier, we have two campuses, one in the city of Waterloo and another one in the city of Brantford. So Laurier was founded in 1911, and we have about 20,000 students in total. And we're primarily an undergraduate school. So I would say like 95% of our students are all in an undergrad four-year program. The split between Waterloo and Brantford, Waterloo has about 17,000 students and Brantford has about 2,000 to 2,500 students. In addition to the Waterloo and Brantford campuses, some programs are only offered at Waterloo. So if you want to do something like a kinesiology, computer science, or business, that would be Waterloo. But today we're talking about liberal arts. So the program I'm going to touch on, user experience design, that is located in the Brantford campus. And then, as you can see, the campuses are about a 45-minute drive from each other, and they're about an hour and a half from the city of Toronto. So when you land into the airport, it's pretty straightforward to get to either campus. Some shots of the Waterloo and Brantford campus. Another big difference between the two is Waterloo campus, everything is in a one block area. So this whole section you see here, it extends a little bit more to the back, and everything in this little corridor, this little section is all Laurier buildings, Laurier residence, study spots, dining hall, the gym, everything like that. Whereas in the Brantford campus, the community is in the downtown Brantford area. So what this means is you might be in your psychology lecture, and right next door to your psychology building is the local cinema. Beside that is a Starbucks. So that's what's called a European style campus, and another difference between the two. So let me get into Laurier now, a little bit more about the details. So I'd like to start with your international student experience. So a big reason why I believe students come to Laurier is because of our student experience. There's so much more to university than just going to class and doing your homework and trying to do well on presentations and tests. A big reason why I actually have this job today was because of everything I did outside of the classroom at Laurier. After I graduated, employers knew that I went to a competitive university, graduated from a great program, but they didn't ask me about any specific courses or grades. What they asked me was like my volunteer experience, tutoring experience, and that is, like I mentioned, a big component of Laurier. So if there's anything you're passionate about in high school, you enjoy debate, you enjoy taekwondo, you enjoy baking cupcakes or sandwiches. I was also part of the sandwich club. You can join a lot of different clubs and get involved, and depending on how involved you want to be, you can be a general member all the way to the president of the club, and that comes with a lot of skills that you're learning that you can talk about in your job interviews. Another thing I want to mention is because everything is going virtual now, I really encourage you to check out our campus in 3D. So you can go on our website, wlu.ca/virtual experience, and we're going to be posting a lot of ways for you to see the campus without actually being there physically. Now I'm going to go into the teaching and learning. So the picture you see on this slide, this is actually from a user experience design lecture or lab, I would say. And user experience, this program is located at our Brantford campus, and it's in the Faculty of Liberal Arts. So you can see the Brantford campus, we have two faculties on the screen. We have the social work competitive program at Laurier, and then these are all the different liberal arts programs at the Brantford campus. User experience design is the one I want to talk about today. So UX is basically helping a company improve how their customer interacts with their product or service. So think of a company like Apple. Apple is a super successful company for so many different reasons, but a big component of why Apple is successful is because their user experience, meaning someone like me who's a customer of Apple, when I pick up their iPhone or their iPad or their MacBook, within like 10, 20 minutes, I'm really comfortable and it's very easy to use. So the design of those products are very, very superior compared to something like Sony, Toshiba, or even Android phones. And that is a big component why I personally think people like Apple. They're very easy, the design and the experience is very enjoyable. So we all know that Apple has great computer scientists, great software engineers who are working on actually creating the phone, but there's actually someone who sits down with that computer scientist or that designer to figure out how can we make this very easy for like a 5-year-old essentially to pick up and start using. So that is like a technical example of user experience design, but a non-technical example is you can graduate from the program and really be focusing on a company like Starbucks. So imagine Starbucks is launching a brand new store in a certain city. And the whole idea of Starbucks is they don't want you to just come in and buy a coffee and leave. They want you to come in, enjoy your experience in the store. So they'll really be intentional with figuring out what kind of music should we be playing, what kind of furniture we should be using, what kind of color should the walls be, what kind of painting should we have, what kind of people should we hire. So Starbucks is really intentional with creating an enjoyable experience for someone who's going and getting a cup of coffee, so that you don't just get the coffee and leave. You go get the coffee, sit down, and perhaps you end up ordering more food like muffins or anything like that. So I gave you two different examples of UX design, but you can start to see how UX is such a big field. Every single company is always trying to figure out, we have these customers or we have these people who use our product, our website, our headphones, they drink our coffee. How can we make the experience more enjoyable for them? So you can see UX is really for those students who are very creative. So if you're someone who's thinking about a little bit of a graphic design, a little bit of a computer science, maybe a little bit of interior decorating too, but you're not really sold on one particular area, this program is very comprehensive, that it gives you a little bit of everything. And within the program that you saw in the previous slide, the labs, we have what's called clean labs, and we have what's called dirty labs. And clean lab is essentially like a computer, like a computer room. So a room set up with computers where someone is sitting and actually maybe doing some JavaScript or CSS and HTML, making a website. That would be like a clean lab. A dirty lab would be someone who is actually creating something physical. So they're taking a lot of pieces from a variety of, let's say, board games, and they're trying to make something for that. Or they're taking, they're making something like something in elementary school to teach students about recycling. So the idea is a student actually created some sort of little device where for every like water bottle you put in, there's like a little candy that comes out. So that's pretty much teaching students in a school to be more responsible with cleaning up, and they're getting a little bit of a reward. So that was created in what's called like a dirty, more hands-on lab. The best thing about the UX program is it has something called the professional experience program, which is 12 to 16 months of work experience built into the program. So during the first 3 years at Laurier, you will get a really good understanding of what UX is all about, what fields you want to specialize in. And after you have a better idea, after third year, you get a huge break from school, 12 to 16 months straight, where you work with an advisor at Laurier and you can tell them, you know what, I really want to work for Pepsi, or I want to work in this specific city, or I want to gain these skill sets, and an advisor will help you look for that position. And during that time, there's no classes, so you're not paying any tuition or any fees that way. There is a small co-op fee, but the positive of that is you're gaining work experience, you're gaining money, and hopefully a reference or a job offer after you graduate. So that is the UX program at Laurier. I know I talked about it really briefly. I will give you more follow-up information. So you can contact our advisors, or you can contact me if you have more information, or anyone from CUAC. In addition, I just want to cover up some other programs we have at Laurier. So we have the Faculty of Arts. These are the programs at the Waterloo campus. So you can see we have your traditional English, history, geography programs, but we also have pretty unique programs like North American Studies. We have a law degree program, which is a 6-year program, 2 degrees. Students study in Canada and in England, and they get an LLB from University of Sussex. In addition to Faculty of Arts, we have Faculty of Science. This is fake, don't worry, it's not a real cadaver. That's what I studied, and within Faculty of Science, we have like bio, chem, but then also programs like data science or computer science. Music is also a very popular faculty at Laurier, and then our business and economics faculty. Already gave a plug out to the virtual tours, so I really encourage you to do that. If you can, it's a great way for you to explore the campus. Also, application checklist is on our website down here, wlu.ca/international/admissions. Deadline information is on the screen as well. Also meet with a recruiter. So we have an opportunity for you to meet one-on-one with me. If you are interested in doing that, you can just email that and put meet with a recruiter, and we'll match you with someone from our team. And I just want to leave you with our contact information. So follow us on all these social media platforms if people still use Facebook, but we have other ones as well. So YouTube, we're really building up. So make sure you check our videos on YouTube. We're going to be doing a lot of VR stuff and allowing students to get a feel of the campus without actually being there physically. So that's all I had for you today. I'm going to stop talking now, and I will pass it off to CUAC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danish. I'll just throw up a quick poll. While we transition over to St. Thomas, we'll just do 15 seconds for this. What program are you interested in? Liberal arts, business, engineering? Not sure. Okay, interesting. So we actually have the majority of people who are interested in business. It's a tie with the liberal arts and engineering, a bit of science, and then quite a lot of people who are not sure. That's great. I always like talking to students who are not really sure, because you don't really have to be sure once you start. Okay then, so let's pass it over to St. Thomas. This is Camila and Kaylee. Okay, take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. Hi, everyone. My name is Camila, and I'm an international admissions counselor at St. Thomas University. I'm here with my colleague, Kaylee Moore. And Kaylee and I will talk to you today about studying at St. Thomas. Both of us came to STU as international students from different parts of the world. So we'll tell you a little bit about what we have to offer, and we'll highlight one of our programs as well. So at St. Thomas, first I'll tell you where we are located. So we are located in the East Coast, in the east part of the country. The slide will update shortly, but we are located in Atlantic Canada in a province called New Brunswick. New Brunswick is Canada's only official bilingual province, so we speak both French and English, and we're located between Quebec, Nova Scotia, and the province of Maine in the United States. So New Brunswick, it's a great province, it's a great place to study, to work, to live. It's very safe. very diverse, and a place where you can really get a high quality of life at a very affordable cost. So St. Thomas is located right in the city of Fredericton, which is the capital city of the province of New Brunswick. Even though Fredericton is the capital city of the province of New Brunswick, it is a smaller city. So you do get kind of the best of both worlds. As a capital city, you do get all of the businesses, the services, all the politics, and entrepreneurship opportunities you would get in a bigger city, but with the charm of a smaller college-centered town. So for example, I came to Fredericton from Lima, Peru. My city, Lima, has like around 14 million people. I knew when I was choosing a place to live that I didn't want to go somewhere that would be as hectic or as chaotic as Lima. As much as I love Lima, I wanted to go to a place where I could transition into life in another country in a smoother way. And Fredericton really provided the best of both worlds. So somebody coming from a big city, I didn't feel like I didn't have enough things to do. There were so many students that there was always something going on. The city's very student-centered, so you get a lot of student discounts, a lot of activities. There's a lot of music, theater, good food. So it's a really good place for when you're moving away from home for the first time. And it's just a beautiful area with lots of nature and activities as well. So that's a little bit about where we are located. Now, St. Thomas is a really unique university in Canada. We only offer liberal arts. So we're an exclusively liberal arts university, and we specialize in undergraduate studies in the humanities and the social sciences. So when I was a student looking for universities, I had just completed the IB, and I knew that I wanted a really well-rounded style of education, similar to what I had received in school. And the liberal arts really provided me with that well-roundedness, versatility, flexibility, and interdisciplinary approach that I was getting in school. So with the idea of the liberal arts, like Linda mentioned earlier, we want you to develop the critical thinking skills that will allow you to be a global thinker, be successful in a variety of different careers, and pursue your job opportunities anywhere in the world. So the idea is to create global thinkers that will impact the world in a positive way. So in order to do this, we specialize in programs within the humanities and the social sciences. My colleague Kaylee will tell you more about our human rights program in a few slides, but the programs that we offer do fall within humanities, social sciences, fine arts, music, and around 60% of our students double major, so you do have the opportunity to pursue interdisciplinary studies and graduate with more than one area of concentration during your degree. Now, because we are so specialized, we do things a little bit different. We limit enrollment so that we can provide you with a really high quality style of education. So we have around 2,000 students on our campus. 60 is the cap for all of our classes. So you'll never be in a classroom with 300 students. You'll always be able to participate in the classroom discussion and learn through participation. And our average first year class size is actually 26. So you are guaranteed to have a really dynamic discussion-based style of learning. We also provide all students with experiential learning opportunities. So we want you to learn not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. Whether it is that you're a journalism student taking your classes at the CBC studios, or you're an international relations student competing in Model United Nations competitions around the world, we want you to gain that practical experience alongside what you're doing in the classroom so that you can become more well-rounded and have better prospects, whether for jobs or graduate studies when it's time to leave St. Thomas. So with that, we're going to tell you about our human rights program. So I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Kaylee.
Thanks, Camilla. So hi, everyone. As Camilla mentioned, my name is Kaylee Moore. I also came to St. Thomas as a former international student as well. So I grew up in the United States and was considering university there until I found St. Thomas University in Canada. It is the country's only exclusively liberal arts school. So it was a big draw for me as a student that knew I had a lot of different areas of interest. So I ended up studying journalism, communications, and political science, and got involved with some of the business opportunities on the campus as well. So I'm going to tell you about one of our majors that is pretty unique. We're one of the only universities in North America to offer human rights as a standalone major at the undergraduate level. We have a lot of similar programs that our courses, that our students do take classes in, including criminology, communications, international relations, economics with business, and political science. So you can definitely make your human rights degree whatever you'd like. But human rights are essentially codified laws that governments are supposed to adhere to. And the way those get codified is by activism. So people fighting for their rights, the right to equality, the right to religion, sexuality, free speech, the press. So all of these are human rights that in Canada are upholded and around the world as well in different contexts. So this is a really interesting and fascinating major if you're thinking about going on in a career in law or law enforcement. Maybe you want to be in social work, or you want to work for the United Nations and be an ambassador for your country, or a delegate, work for the World Bank or the Red Cross. We have a lot of alumni that go on to work in everything from grassroots organizations and nonprofits to governments and international affairs. Now, human rights, I'll show you some of the sample courses that are offered in it and the topics that we cover. So you'll see that some of the courses kind of cross-list with other programs you saw when Camilla mentioned the different areas that we study. So courses that talk about advancements in human rights through social media, or how international human rights and the media are displayed. So this is a great opportunity if you're looking at going on to business or a career in media or broadcast journalism. Then you'll definitely get that background in how human rights can be displayed and promoted through those areas. Of course, it wouldn't be complete without studying lots of law. So in Canada and the US, if you are thinking about going on to law school, you might be familiar with the process. You do have to do your 4-year undergraduate degree, and then you apply into a law school to then become a lawyer. So we, as an undergraduate university, would be that first step in the 4-year process. And one of the really unique opportunities that we have at St. Thomas is our moot court program. So moot court is a simulated Supreme Courtroom system. We're one of the only teams, official teams in Canada that's housed as a class within a program. So we actually compete in the American Moot Court Association, which you'll see in the center of the screen there. Right now in the American Moot Court, there's over 400 teams that compete all across North America. We currently rank first in the writing category, and we're the 3rd overall team. So we're highly ranked across Canada and the United States for our moot court program. We also have competed on the world stage as the only undergraduate team to qualify to the Nelson Mandela World Human Rights Moot Court Competition. It's hosted at the United Nations in Geneva, and we actually won that in 2017. And then the Osgood Cup is the Canadian Cup, and we are champions of that cup. And then because of that success, our team was actually invited to Washington, D.C. to compete in space law competitions there. So if you have any interest in law or business, a lot of our moot court students do go on to business. So I saw from the poll, there was a lot of interest. This program trains you completely in how to argue and debate a scenario all the way from the top down, how to use logic, communication skills, presentation, public speaking, how to command a room and an audience. It really will train you for kind of that leadership role that you might want to assume within your career. So it's a program that we are ranked very highly for, and we definitely recommend. And a lot of our students do go on to work in a variety of careers. So as you're hearing today, that's kind of the beauty of the liberal arts. You have so many different career path opportunities open for you that you can explore. I'm going to turn it back to Camilla to just quickly mention how we would prepare you for those career opportunities.
Thanks, Kaylee. So similar to that, we do have an Office of Experiential Learning that organizes paid internships for our students. They are matched by the program of study, and you do have opportunities throughout the school year and the summer. This is a great way for you to get a little bit of work experience within your field, get to network with different professionals in the areas that you want to work in, and get a real feel for what you might want to do when it's time to graduate. I'll quickly talk about our student life. We do have a very diverse student population. Around 11% of our student population is international. We have students coming from 42 countries, and our students are very active outside the classroom. So we have a lot of clubs and societies for you to get involved and gain that experience outside the classroom. Whether you're interested in activism or sustainability, music, theater, sports, there's always something for students to do. The last thing I will say is our applications for September 2021 open this October, and we have a strong scholarship program for international students applying from high school. We have scholarships based on merit and bursaries based on financial need as well. So we'd be happy to answer any questions you have during the Q&A. And if you want more information about our programs, there you have our website and our contact information as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camila and Kaylee. Sorry, my light went off. Okay, just gonna throw on another poll. And then we'll transition to Brescia at Western University. You'll hear from Miliana. Okay, so the next poll question, which subjects do you find most interesting? This is multiple choice, so you can choose a few. I wanted to put this on here because I did want to stress that if you're not really sure what you want to study, we have counselors pretty much all over the world, or at least somebody who is near you. The CUAC is a Canadian company, but we do have global offices. So our counselors would be happy to talk you through some of the things that you're interested in, what majors or programs might be available at university that could interest you. But also keep in mind that because our degrees are flexible, you might start off in something and end up changing your mind throughout the duration of your degree, and that's totally fine too. That's why it's really important to work with your academic advisor to make sure that that you're taking the right subject. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people selected business and art. Okay, cool. Some math, some science in there. Nobody's interested in history, huh? Or physical education. Okay, thanks for participating in our poll. I'll pass it over to you now, Miliana.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Miliana, and I am the International Recruitment Specialist at Brescia University College. Today I'll be sharing just a bit of information about Brescia, and in particular, I'll be giving you an overview of one of our unique programs within the liberal arts. So before I get started, I just wanted to let you know where we are. So within this map of Canada, you'll see Brescia here in Ontario, and we are in a city called London. So London is a medium-sized city, which is much smaller. As you can see, the population is about 400,000. London is much smaller than cities like Toronto, Vancouver, or Montreal. And London is a very green city with lots of parks and nature trails to explore. We're about 2 hours away from Toronto by bus or by car. And London has lots of options for education. So for postgraduate, or sorry, for post-secondary studies, either at colleges or universities. And there are a number of large industries for employment as well, as you can see the ones listed here. So really making it the perfect city to study and then stay for work afterwards as well. So just a brief overview of Brescia before we get into the family studies program, which I'll be highlighting. I wanted to just share some key highlights. The first thing I'd like to share is that Brescia is Canada's only women's university. We do have a foundation program called Preliminary Year, which is open to both male and female students, but our undergraduate programs are actually for female students only. So because we are affiliated with Western University, and Western is actually right across the street from Brescia, Our students are actually able to take classes on Western University's campus, as well as the other 2 schools that are affiliated with Western, and they can access different services, clubs, and sports teams that are offered at Western as well. And the most important is that the degrees that students receive at Brescia are actually granted by Western University. So now the advantage that Brescia offers is our small class sizes, which allow students to engage closely with their classmates and receive more guidance and one-on-one support from professors. In particular, our international students are very well taken care of because we are such a small university of about 1,400 students. It really does give us the advantage of being able to get to know our international students individually and provide some very unique services, supports, and activities for them throughout the year, making their entire time at Brescia very memorable. And then lastly, I'd like to mention, I won't go into great detail here, but I'd like to mention that we do have a number of automatic and application-based scholarships and awards that are available to our international students. So there are, although our tuition, which I'll mention at the end, is on the higher end for Canadian universities, we do have a number of scholarships available. So I'll start digging into our family studies program, which is also known as human ecology. As a student in the family studies program, you will gain the background to basically help you become a professional in one of the many different careers that have an impact or that work with the well-being of Canadian families. So your classes will include material and discussion on topics such as the diversity of families, how individuals and families change and grow throughout the life course, and how laws and policies affect different kinds of families in Canada. So you'll also study all the diverse aspects of families, such as parenting, marriage, divorce, immigration, family violence, family finances, and a lot more that covers that topic. And Brescia's approach to family studies is very interdisciplinary. So this program draws upon different topics such as psychology, sociology, anthropology, economics, history, and a lot of different fields. So although here I am primarily highlighting the Bachelor of Arts in Family Studies, students do also have the option of studying the Bachelor's of Science. Now, some of the interesting courses that I've listed here that you would be able to take as part of the Family Studies program include the different types of psychology courses or disciplines such as developmental and educational psychology, as well as courses regarding family policies, issues in housing, consumer economics, and so on. So there are definitely a number of interesting topics, and students, of course, are able to combine their family studies degree with another degree offered at Brescia or potentially offered at Western University or one of the other campuses at Western. Lastly, in terms of the family studies program, I wanted to mention that many of our graduates have gone on to either complete a master's degree or enroll in law school, medical school, or even a business degree, or they've started working straight out of their studies in careers in social services and other sectors. So some of the careers that I've listed here that our graduates are now in include child and youth work, curriculum planning and teaching, therapy counseling, and then of course, work such as mental health and social work. So as you can see, the variety of careers that you can enter into with the family studies course is definitely varied, and it applies to a lot of different fields. Again, as the previous presenters have mentioned, liberal arts are applicable to a lot of different sectors. Lastly, I wanted to mention that the Family Studies program does offer a practical learning course where students are matched with a local community organization that supports families in one aspect or another, and they are able to apply the skills that they learn in the classroom to real life scenarios. So you do have an opportunity to gain some experience while you're studying. And then additionally, the students that complete the Professional Perspectives course, which is part of this program, are actually eligible for the Professional Home Economist designation. Again, giving them just an extra skill, no matter what field they're working in, whether it's finance, IT, anything. Briefly, I wanted to go over some of the other programs available at Brusha. As you can see by the list, the programs are primarily in the arts and humanities and social science streams. This is because Brusha is a liberal arts institution. At the top of the list, you'll see preliminary year, which I mentioned earlier, is a foundation year program offered to both female and male students who need to complete typically a grade 12 level education in order to be admissible to undergraduate studies, whether it's at Brusha, at Western, or another institution. A few other programs I'd like to point out are management and organizational studies, which includes courses such as consumer behavior, accounting, food management, and marketing. And then the program our school is most known for is foods and nutrition, where students can study dietetics if they're interested in becoming registered dietitians. I wanted to give you a very quick overview of admission requirements. These are applicable to the Family Studies program, as well as our other social science and arts and humanities courses. Again, I won't go into very great detail, and I know I'm sure I'm missing a few different curriculum that some of you might be studying, but for the major curriculum here that are listed, students studying A-levels would need to complete at least 3 A-level courses. Students in India studying the CBSE or other similar curriculum would need about a 71% average. IB students need scores of 24. And then the American high school curriculum students would need a 79% average with SATs, of course. So just to help you understand eligibility requirements, as you see here on the screen, we do offer two different intakes for undergraduate studies, which are September and January. September is definitely the best time to start, just because of the large 1-week orientation that we offer international students. And courses at Western University and at Brusha are designed for students to begin in September. So beginning in September, you'll be able to make sure that you've met all your requirements for the next year. Anybody interested in preliminary year would be able to start in September, January, or May. And if you are interested in applying for September 2021, I would encourage you to consider submitting an application between December this year and March. And of course, you can reach out to staff at CUAC to help you with the application process. So that's all I had today. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer. Thank you all for participating.
Thanks, Miliana. Okay, I have our final poll question, which is, what is important to you when deciding on a university? So this is also multiple choice. You can select whichever of these is important to you when deciding. So cost, location, size, etc. I'll just give you a few seconds and then we'll hear from Ali from the University of Saskatchewan. So Ali is going to be our last presenter, but we are going to do Q&A at the end. So if you've left a question, then we'll be able to get to those. I know we're going a little bit over, so thank you for sticking around. Thank you to the presenters for sticking around and for the attendees as well. Okay. So poll results. For most of the people here, cost is most important. Program choices, work opportunities are close seconds, and nobody really cares about the size of the university. That's interesting. Oh, one person does. Okay, thank you. Ali?
Hi.
Hi, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, Lindsay was talking about earlier trying to manage 2 screens. I'm going to try and manage 3 screens. So we'll see how that works. It may or may not work, but here we go, trying. And just to let me figure out what I am doing here. Can you guys see my presentation? I hope that everybody can see it.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, CBSE team. So my name is Ali Shirtez. I'm from the University of Saskatchewan. I'm a student recruitment officer and was also a student at the University of Saskatchewan. Decided I just couldn't leave, couldn't get enough of the place, so I stuck around and keep sticking around, and I can't seem to leave. I am a little bit biased towards the university, having gone there, but I do really believe in what the University of Saskatchewan does and what it stands for, and in the programs that we offer. See if I can also switch my slide. I hope it switched for you, because it switched for me. So we're located, the University of Saskatchewan's main campus is located in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in Canada. So we're just in south central Saskatchewan there, bordered by Alberta and Manitoba to either side of us. As I mentioned, the main campus is located in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We do, however, have a secondary campus that just opened this year in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, about an hour away. And we also offer our program students are able to start our programs, in some cases, even finish our programs at a number of different institutions across the province. So we partner with regional colleges, and we have affiliated colleges that are able to offer programs through distance learning across the province. And if my slides would switch on me, there we go. And there's Saskatoon, a beautiful shot of our downtown Saskatoon there with the Delta Bessborough, an iconic hotel, right in the middle. So we're located on the shores, I guess you would say, of the South Saskatchewan River, which meanders beautifully through our city. And right across the river from downtown is where you will find the University of Saskatchewan's main campus. And there's a beautiful shot of it. It spreads, let's just put it like that. It spreads, it takes up quite a large portion of the city, in fact. But the nice, beautiful thing about it is that it's a comprehensive campus all together, where students don't really have to, travel across town to get from one class or one department to another. We're all together in one concise, cohesive campus. And hello, beautiful. The University of Saskatchewan campus has a lot of things about it, a lot of things that stand out, and I just thought I'd share some of them with you because, when I was making my decision about studying, and I studied environmental science, and I could have done that at a number of different institutions across Canada, so why choose the University of Saskatchewan? You can study liberal arts pretty much anywhere across Canada. You've heard from a number of fantastic institutions today. So I'll share with you a little bit of a highlight about the University of Saskatchewan. So we were established in 1907, and we have a very long history of excellence since 1907. To date, we are a very large family that spans across the province and internationally with our study abroad options. We have over 26,000 students in our USask family, and about just shy of 4,000 are international students. So we have a very large percentage of international students representing all different corners of the world at USask. Our campus, as it says there, Hello Beautiful, has actually been deemed and recognized as one of Canada's most beautiful places to study. And not only that, but our students also enjoy a very high level of support. That's typical of a smaller university, though we are in a small city with a large city feel. So we create this environment that inspires student collaboration, innovation, and discovery. Our graduates are known across Canada and worldwide for their work ethic, resourceful nature, and determination. And so we continue to build on this long history of success to address the world's challenges. What else do I want to tell you about the university? We do have some notable alumni, some alumni of excellence. We have a former Prime Minister of Canada that's a graduate of the University of Saskatchewan, 2 Nobel laureates, an Academy Award winner. We do have a band on the cover of the Rolling Stone, and 3 justices of the Supreme Court of Canada, amongst many other notable ones. One of the other really great things about USask is that our students have this opportunity to gain practical hands-on experience as part of their undergraduate degrees and graduate degrees in their fields of study, whether it be by taking part in an internship or a co-op program, participating in a field class, or perhaps even just by taking advantage of a study abroad or exchange program at another Canadian or international institution that we partner with. Let me see if my slide will change. There it is. So today, USask is known as a prestigious institution who's a member of the U15 group, the group of Canada's top research-intensive universities. So we're very, very proud of that. That's a great accomplishment and big thing to be proud of. Out of 97 universities across Canada, we're in the top 15 for research. How amazing is that? We have a very, very well-deserved reputation for creativity and collaboration, like I was saying, among students and amongst our staff and faculty, and achievements. We're able to do this research given world-class research facilities that we have on our campus that enable us to be leading researchers in areas like water resources in Canada and veterinary science and agricultural sciences. So we have the only Canadian light source synchrotron, we have the International Center of Water Security, Food Security, we have a toxicology center, Vito Intervac, disease control, and in those, all of those facilities and centers for research, we have tons and tons of groundbreaking research taking place that's helping to solve some of the world's greatest challenges. So join us at USask in a liberal arts degree, seeking solutions to these big, great challenges that are out there in the world today, and be what the world needs. Because at USask, we have over 150 different programs, spread across 13 different colleges or faculties. A lot of universities use the terms faculties and colleges interchangeably. So our 13 different colleges are split between non-direct entry programs and direct entry programs. The liberal arts you're going to find in the direct entry programs, particularly in the College or Faculty of Arts and Science, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But the beautiful thing about USask, especially with a liberal arts degree, is that if you are interested in taking your career further, developing your studies, and maybe sprinkling in a little bit of interdisciplinary studies in there, not just focusing on one program or another. We do have the ability to help you do that, not only through a direct entry program, but having the opportunity to transfer into a non-direct entry program. So for instance, there was a great example given earlier. If you're interested in business or economics or anything of the sorts and want to go into studying law, you by all means have the opportunity to do so at USask. And so because we're here to talk about liberal arts, at USask, liberal arts begins here in the Faculty of Arts and Science, and these are all the different degrees and majors that the College of Arts and Science offers. So your liberal arts experience at USask can begin here in a standalone program, so be it a Bachelor of Arts in a liberal art field, or as an experience through an interdisciplinary program. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what that means, because Arts and Science offers all of these minors and certificates that can be done as, again, standalone programs or in combination with a degree program, just to sort of add value to your degree. You also receive an additional parchment when you graduate, and it just makes you a little bit more marketable in the workforce, having, you know, stacked papers in your name. Let me see if I can switch here and talk about one of the majors, liberal arts majors at USask that I'd like to highlight. And I'm really glad I picked this one, having seen the poll earlier, because I do strongly believe that people misunderstand what the field of history is. And I know that when we were talking about what subjects you folks were interested in studying, history didn't get not one vote, which is okay. It's okay. I like a challenge. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about what history is all about and why it's a little bit of, I guess, misunderstood field of study. So historians, kind of like you see there in the description, historians tell stories using letters, pictures, diaries, newspapers, all sorts of medium, film, music, and by interpreting these stories and sources, we can learn about all sorts of things like hopes, dreams, burdens of the people in the past. History also helps us understand a little bit about current global phenomenon and current events. As a matter of fact, at USask, our first year History Matters course series allows students to kind of delve into that practice of history from the very beginning of their degrees. You can learn about how history has shaped humans, how it's shaped human thought, how past societies have responded to both crisis and fortune, and how modern societies are responding to those same aspects. You also learn how to use written texts, oral histories, primary documents, artifacts, material culture, and to understand, topics ranging everything from Roman architecture to queer marriage, Renaissance magic to contemporary environmental conflicts and social justice. And I skipped one too much. Did I skip one too much? Do you guys see? I hope you can see the highlights in the careers page on your screen. So just some of the things that make the Department of History at USask a really, really unique experience is that right off the bat, we have one of the top history departments in Canada. According to the Canadian Historical Association, we're in the top 5. So that's amazing. Your experience as a student in history at USask, with all the student supports, travel abroad, hands-on learning experience that we offer, could be absolutely phenomenal. We offer a very wide range of classes, so you start to build those basic technological skills right off the bat, which are applicable way outside of just a history degree and the history field. Our Department of History prides itself on this ability to offer small class discussion groups for our first year students, mid-sized second year lecture classes, and by the time students get to their 3rd and 4th years, small classes are very, very small, seminar size. We also have, just to kind of give you an idea of how different history could look, history doesn't just have to look at old texts and the history of mankind. We also have a history GIS lab where history meets geography and geographical information system and map making and all of that. So you can kind of think about all the different things that you could do with history, particularly it being a program in the Faculty or College of Arts and Science that has over 60 different areas that you can choose from to sprinkle into your degree. So if you're interested, liberal arts in history, but maybe you'd also like to know a little bit about economics or about criminology, psychology, sociology. I'm going to throw in there physics, and I'm going to throw in there engineering. You can by all means do so. You can take courses from other faculties as part of your arts and science degree as well. What else? Ooh, assistantships. Assistantships and research opportunities are huge at the University of Saskatchewan, and the history department is by no means any less in this area. We have assistantships, and internships, which will help our students prepare even better for the job market following graduation. Even now with the current pandemic going on and all the travel restrictions that are in place, our students are able to take place in virtual internships. For example, I'm thinking of the one that's in Washington at the moment. And starting in very first year of their degree, our students can engage in original research projects. We have one-of-a-kind History Matters course series, and we also have an ethnohistory field course that partners with University of Victoria and the First Nations community to, again, look at social justice issues. You can, while taking a history degree, focusing on history subjects, or again, sprinkling in some of those other interests into your degree, you can earn credits towards your program while traveling within Canada or overseas in places like Paris and Rome or South Africa. So don't limit yourself. We don't have to stay in Saskatoon just because we're studying at the University of Saskatchewan. So we do offer that very diverse range of experiential learning opportunities, community engaged learning, guided research, both with the City of Saskatoon and our communities at large. And, you know, I think the last thing that I wanted to touch on that points a little bit to this misunderstanding of a history degree is a lot of people seem to have this idea of, oh, what are you going to do with a history degree? What am I going to be, a historian or an archivist? By all means, those are still very viable career options, but there's a whole host of things that you can do with a history degree. Our alumni have had success in various industries and government, and we have high level of employment for our history grads in a variety of areas. Because the program teaches you, like I was saying earlier, those basic technology skills, large variety of skills that can be applied to anything from the health field to politics, business, sales, legal occupations, what have you. Historians have what the job market wants. I can't remember who it was that was saying earlier, kind of those essential skills, that critical thinking, coordination, social perceptiveness, active listening, being able to connect with those that are around you, complex problem solving, leadership, and of course, not going to talk about communication skills because those are important no matter where you're going to be working, along with functional knowledge. So aside from the careers that are listed there and all the opportunities listed there, which again are not limited to just that list, humanities grads and liberal arts grads just have a whole host of cross-cultural skills as well that they can bring into the work experience. One of the big fields that historians, believe it or not, go into following graduation is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence requires the actual intelligence of humans and the humanities and the liberal arts, as computers behave more and more like humans nowadays. As you know, history, or maybe you don't know, and I'm here to tell you, history is absolute key to democracy, democratic thought, civic engagement. So our graduates any graduates with liberal arts degrees, we find are the most politically engaged citizens. In an interest of time, I had a video that we put out, the value of a Bachelor of Arts program, which is not specific to history, just more specific to liberal arts at USAS, that I was going to share with you. Maybe I'll just put the link to that video in the chat in an interest of time and let it go to question time, unless you guys have any questions. Here's our contact information for the University of Saskatchewan. So we do have a language center as well for international students that meet admissions requirements but may not pass our language requirements. So we do have a joint admission program where students are able to start in their academic program and take ESL classes to meet language requirements at the same time. The admissions.usas.ca website that's under recruitment, admissions, and transfer credit is kind of our main point of access to the University of Saskatchewan's admissions page. It's got everything from list of programs and what the admission requirements are for those programs to, we actually have a really neat box in there where you can input what country you're from, and then it spits out the different requirements based on your country and your highest level of education. Of course, our contact information is there as well. You can give us a call anytime or send us an email. What else did I want to tell you? Last but not least, our open house, University of Saskatchewan open house, virtual open house this year is going to take place on September 24th. September 24th is a really, really big date, open house, and it's also the dates that our applications open for next fall. So I hope that I was able to shed some light on maybe some new things that you didn't know about a history degree, how it's a little bit misunderstood, and all of the different opportunities that a history degree, a liberal arts degree can do for you at the University of Saskatchewan. Thank you guys. I'm going to stop sharing if I can figure out how to stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Ali. I'm really glad you covered history as well. It's one of my favorite topics. And for sure, I hope the biggest takeaway that you all get from today's presentation is that whatever you study isn't so narrow that if you study history, you have to become a historian, or if you study psychology, you have to become a psychologist. There's so many different avenues that a liberal arts degree can take you. But also if you're studying engineering, those liberal arts classes can really contribute to your success in that industry. Okay,
exactly.
So yeah, thanks, Ali, and thanks everyone for presenting. I do want to close with a couple of announcements, and then we'll move on to question and answer. Sorry, one second. Okay, so I realized, thank you for bringing to my attention that I had not actually through any of my slides during my presentation. So yeah, I did have slides. but I'll just skip over to here, upcoming events. For those who might be interested in applying to a program in Canada, we do have a virtual counseling session coming up on September 25th and 26th, which is just one day after the University of Saskatchewan open house and when those applications open. So if you are interested in applying to any of those programs, you can actually meet somebody from the University of Saskatchewan. This is a lot more suited for those of you who want to meet one-on-one with a university representative. So you have some time to explain your profile, kind of tell us what you want to study. We'll give you some options and explain how to complete those applications and how we help along the way. I did mention that we have staff in a lot of cities around the world, so there's always someone available to help you through that process. So today's webinar ended up a presentation style, so we won't be able to address every specific individual question about your particular case. We'll take more general questions today and those that are geared towards a specific university, but I do encourage you to attend one of these other sessions to get more details about you, because it is really individual. The counseling part is really individual. We'll repeat that counseling again October 23rd and 24th, again a Friday and a Saturday. If you are interested in other events, okay, a little bit of a lag. Here's how you can get in touch with us. Probably the best way is to go on our website, which is canada123.org. You will select the office that is nearest you, fill in your information, and somebody from the office will get in touch with you. So I saw some questions that were like, I want to apply for this particular program, I want to pursue my PhD, things like that. Somebody will be able to guide you towards that. Just a note that we cannot help with PhD, but somebody will be able to tell you why and what steps you can take if that is your ultimate goal, or why maybe you might be better suited for a course-based master's, for example. So these are, again, some of the specific questions that our counselors are here to help you with, and as well as our virtual counseling events. You can send us an email. This is internationalintl@cuac.ca. We have an Instagram, the _Spacey, and Facebook, UAC123. So those are the many ways that you can get in touch with us. I am going to move on to question and answer. So we'll start first with Shafkat, who has been moderating the Facebook Live questions. And then after that, April will take the Zoom questions. Shafkat? Okay, Shafkat is having some technical difficulties, but he did share a question earlier from a student who joined us on Facebook Live. They were asking about medicine in Canada. Could you, I'll just pass it over. Lindsay, if you're still there, could you just take that quickly about the medical system? The question was, do you have medicine in Canada?
Absolutely. So the answer to that is yes, we do have medicine in Canada, but the way that the, I guess the journey goes is that in order to be eligible to apply to medical school in Canada, you must have a 4-year undergraduate degree first. Now, this is the case for many professional programs, so law, dentistry, medicine, for the most part, education. You require a 4-year undergraduate degree first. Now, this is great because it ensures that students really have a solid foundation of knowledge that medicine is indeed what they want to study, and it just ensures that you are really ready for that commitment. It is a long road, it's a challenging road, it's an incredibly rewarding journey. I know sometimes students can get a little weary thinking, oh, I have to do a 4-year degree first, but that tends to be the case no matter what you really want to do. If you want to continue on to a professional program or a master's program, you really do need that 4 years first. So hopefully that answers your question. I know it's a short answer, but we really focus, and I'm speaking from St. Mary's, but I imagine most of the other schools here would say the same thing, that focusing on that first degree is really important. I know all of our institutions have academic advisors that you can go to and meet with to ensure that you're meeting the requirements to be successful in the process to applying to medical school. So ensuring you have those core courses you need to apply. There is a standardized test as well, the MCAT, that you will need to write prior to attending medical school. So there is a bit of a process, but we have academic advisors and supports at all of our institutions to help you reach that goal if it is what you want to do.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Okay, Shafkat is here with us now. So Shafkat, if you want to direct the next question.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Sorry about the last time. Yeah, my internet is a little snazzy. So I'm going to actually position the next question. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Just do let me know if you do not. My next question, I'm going to position for Danish. I think it's about the general arts program and what would okay, here you go, sorry. So what are the courses that one would require if they want to join an arts program?
So for our arts programs, it might be the easiest if what I'm going to do in the chat is attach our virtual copy of the book for this year. And then I'll share this screen that has the requirements for our arts programs. So students will be able to follow along or look at it a little bit later. So just sending that right now, going to open it up and then move over to requirements. Okay, so right over here, you can see these are all of our programs that we have at Laurier with the different faculties. And then if you go to the next page, sorry, I'm just trying to zoom in. You can see we have it listed in columns by program, campus and degree, admission requirements, and then we have two of the popular international curriculums. So this is the IB and the GCE curriculums. And if you just follow down over here, you can see that for the business program at Laurier, if you're in the IB program, you're going to need English out of 4, math out of 4, and a competitive overall score of a 34. British curriculum requirements are right over here. If you're not in these two programs, what you can do is go over here and look at admission requirements. So if it says English at a 70% or math at a 70%, this is the Canadian English and math 70%. So what this basically means is if you see a math and it's like a business or a science program, you're going to assume you have to take the senior level English and the senior level math. So this is also true for our BA programs. If you see right over here, our arts programs right over here, Faculty of Arts, you can see that it says English at a 70% or it just says English. Always assume it's the most senior level English that you need to go into the program. And then in addition to that, we're just looking at your senior level courses. So whatever you're taking in your grade 12 year. Is that what you were looking for, or do you want me to go into a little bit more detail?
No, I think that's perfect. I think that really covers it all. And I'm pretty sure if any of you have any other questions in relation to something that is very particular to where you're coming from, you can just position that towards us and then we can reposition that question again. Perfect. So I do have a next question, which is more about, general scholarship question. I think that kind of applies to all, but I think I'll let Camilla from St. Thomas to take over if she would like to comment on this.
Hi. Yes, thank you. So at St. Thomas, we offer a pretty competitive scholarship program for international students. So we offer both merit-based awards, which would be our scholarships, and also financial need bursaries. Our larger awards would be our scholarships, and they range from $1,000 per year awards all the way to a scholarship that covers full tuition and housing. To be in a competitive spot for these scholarships, you do need to be applying directly from high school, so not have pursued university studies yet. We look at your academics first. So we're looking for really strong marks for difficult, like we look at the difficulty of your academic curriculum, and we also like to see well-roundedness. So we look for extracurricular involvement, leadership, how you will contribute to our campus community, both academically and socially as well. Students have to be accepted before submitting an application. So we do encourage you to apply early on in the application season so that you have enough time to submit a scholarship application. And it is a comprehensive evaluation. So you just submit one application and we'll consider you for any type of award that we have available. So if you're a strong academic achiever, and you're interested in the liberal arts, I would definitely recommend that you look at our programs and apply for our scholarships as well.
All right, lovely. Well, thanks so much for that. Yeah, and I think I can speak for a lot of institutions in this case that scholarships, since it's so much merit-based, it always comes back to what you're coming with. So if you once again, it goes back to the point of, what you've achieved under which particular curriculum. So if you can forward that information that's specific towards you, then we could definitely come back with a point. Yeah, I think we're more or less looking inside the general question from Facebook. Now, I think I'm going to shift to my colleague, April. So I think she has some questions that's been positioned for her in Zoom. Maybe she can take that over.
Yes. Yeah, we did get quite a few questions in Zoom. We'll try to cover all of it, but for some similar questions, I will combine them together. So let's start from, let me see, which is the first one. Okay, here's the one. He wanted to know about, it's not liberal arts, but he wanted to know the biochemistry course. I think he means biochemistry program in Laurier and St. Mary's. So maybe Danish and Lindsay would like to answer this question. Who would start? Lindsay?
Absolutely, I can start. So I would encourage this student to maybe join the science session that we're going to be doing in the next few weeks or so, and then we can talk a little bit more about the sciences and the biochemistry programs that we offer. I am also going to link in the chat box our view book. So I know that Danish had showed you how to get to their view book, so I'm just going to post that in the chat box as well. So, I mean, I could speak a whole spiel about our science program and the biochemistry options that we offer. I know that both of our schools do offer that, and I think there's multiple other schools here on the call today that do also offer biochemistry. So without going into detail, we do offer that. I would encourage you to join the next science specific webinar or connect with the CUAC, and then we can set up a one-on-one conversation.
So similar to what Lindsay was saying, I won't go into too much detail. What I will say is, because I was a science student, one thing I remember about the biochem program is it's very, they're very intentional on making you a solid lab student when you graduate. So in my labs, I messed all of them up and then put this was a human error and I would receive marks. But in biochemistry, when you get to 3rd and 4th year, you receive marks based on how accurate your labs are. So if you're a very strong lab student, this will set you up to go into research and development, working for pharmaceutical companies. So that is the one thing I do know about the program, is that it's more lab intensive than any other program at Laurier. And for applying, you want to make sure you have your senior level math from high school, senior level chemistry, and then biology is the other requirement, and then plus your other courses as well.
Great, thank you. Because I'm starting from the questions from the very beginning. So our presentation started by St. Mary's Laurier. So the first questions are all about St. Mary's Laurier. So these questions are also for Danish and Lindsay. the student want to know the English proficiency requirement as well as A-level requirement to get into both University, Laurier and St. Mary's.
Okay, and I think that again, it's probably just because we were the first two to speak. So I know that most of the representatives right now from all of the institutions are putting their viewbook links in the chat. And I think that all of our viewbook information for all institutions would have our admission requirements in it, as well as our English language proficiency. So I can quickly say at St. Mary's, we look for, example, we have a number of different English proficiency tests we can accept. For IELTS, we look for an overall score of 6.5 with no individual band below a 6. And in terms of A-level requirements, we would look at a combination of your A level, your AS, maybe your O levels. It really just depends on the program that you're looking to apply to, as well as your academic background. So we would look for a combination of the exams that you've written, and we would look for scores of A, B, and C. I imagine most institutions on the call today are pretty similar, but I think that if the reps could just post their viewbook information, then you can actually go on to each institution by itself and look at the admission requirements and the English proficiency requirements as well.
Great. Let's see the next question. Here it is. I'm looking to pursue a master in human resources. Will it be a big problem to have an MBA in management and a long study break backed by working experience in HR? So he didn't mention specific university. So maybe we.
I'll actually take that one, April.
Yeah.
So again, for any specific questions, if you are looking for a particular program, especially if it's postgraduate level, I really do want to encourage you to contact one of our team, one of the CUAC team, because this is a question that's going to take a long time to answer, and it is more suited to a one-on-one setting because it is quite specific. So maybe April will just do kind of the more general ones.
Yeah, sure. The next one is also for Lindsay. Student at St. Mary's University, could you touch a bit on your psychology courses and what it has to offer? And also, what are my job options if I'm planning to study in psychology as a major in SMU?
Sure. So one of the great things about, and I know this has been mentioned today throughout, all of the sessions, is that when you do an undergraduate degree in Canada, you essentially are set up for so many different job opportunities. It really is dependent on your interests. So for example, I have a psychology degree. I then went on to do a little bit more education in media and public relations. And now I travel and I speak to students about studying in Canada and studying at St. Mary's. And all of the reps on this call, we all have pretty much, a similar job, but we all come from completely different academic backgrounds. So that is just an example of how the Canadian post-secondary education system is set up for you to study essentially whatever is of interest to you and whatever, wherever your strength lies, and you can still end up at the same place as somebody who comes from a science background or a business background or a health background. So in terms of psychology at St. Mary's, it is one of our more popular programs. It's offered through both sciences and arts. And I would encourage you to maybe connect with the CUAC team, and we can set up a one-on-one meeting, and I can give you more of a conversation based on my experience, the courses that I took, the different type of psychology streams that we offer, and of course, career opportunities at the end. But I know just kind of an example of that general education that you receive in Canada is that just because you have a degree in psychology doesn't mean that you have to be a psychologist. You want to be a psychologist? Absolutely. There are a number of great ways you can get to that goal. But if you're looking to work in education or healthcare or government or private sector. There are so many different jobs that you can obtain by having a psychology degree. So I know that's short, we're limited on time, but I would encourage you to connect, and I'd be happy to have a one-on-one session.
Okay, thank you. Shafkat?
Yeah, I actually have a question over here that I think kind of positions to everyone, but I think in this case, Ali can take over. This is a more general question towards what kind of work opportunities can one get if they finish an undergrad degree in arts and humanities, and to be perfectly, I mean, positioned, what happens for a lot of people in Southeast Asia. The understanding of arts and humanities is not comprehensive, so their selection process is kind of shrouded with the misinformation, and careers are always positioned that way. So I think that would be helpful for, Ali, if you want to take that over.
Sure. Did you say Ali or April?
Ali.
Ali.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll give you my example because I think it's a really, I swear they hired me just so they could give me as an example when I go and talk to students. So one of the things with an arts degree that I find a lot of people aren't aware of, and that I find makes a key difference to students going into the arts, liberal arts, humanities, social sciences, is that first of all, you're not stuck in your degree. So I changed my mind about 5 times on what exactly I wanted to do with my life. I went from archaeology to biochemistry to back to anthropology, and then decided it was environmental studies in the end. That has nothing to do with any of those. That was what I was meant to do with my life, and I did. And so I graduated with interdisciplinary Bachelor of Arts and Science in Environment and Society. So it bridged the kind of social aspect of environmental studies with scientific notions. And today I'm a recruiter. And I don't do anything with an environmental science aside from the fact that all the different skills that I learned as part of this interdisciplinary degree still apply to what I'm doing today. So things like sales and marketing, things like communications, critical thinking, analysis, statistical analysis, all sorts of different things you wouldn't have thought about learning an environmental degree applies to talking to students and recruiting students and giving students information about a university. So that's kind of my best example that I can give. And I think it speaks volumes to the versatility of an arts degree.
Okay, thanks so much, Ali. I'm sorry, it just took me a minute to find that button. I'm just going to quickly put up our contact information again, and I'll go ahead and close it now. So for those of you, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to our presenters. We hope to see you at one of our future events. Take care.
All right, folks, I think we are almost at the point of closing, so I'm just going to close it for everyone else. This is an understanding.